Good Wednesday morning, everybody. This is Grace, and today I'm going to talk about anxiety, panic attacks, and stories I was told as a child about hauntings and ghosts, UFOs. I won't go so much into UFOs, but I do believe that this contributed to me having anxiety and panic attacks as a child. And I mean, I'm not a healthcare professional provider. This is just my experiences, my views. I'm not trying to give anybody counseling advice. Read the disclaimer in the description box below this video on YouTube. Got all that out. But I did say that I wanted to talk about hauntings and stuff like that, like once a week, that I have seen, heard about, along that line. And so I'll start here about what happened, what I heard when I was a child. And there's the question, at what age should people be introduced to this thought? These days it's very different. It's my dog, by the way. These days it's very different because children can see it on TV. Back in that day, we didn't see so much of that. There wasn't that much to see. We didn't have the internet. I might speed up my voice and so to make the video shorter. And but no, I'm 53 years old. So anyway, when I was young, my mom, she suffered from panic attacks, anxiety, agoraphobia or agoraphobia, and I've heard it pronounced three ways, but anyway, she was very in. She didn't leave the home very much. Only if she had to, and she enjoyed things like what was that show? I can't even remember the name. Barnes Collins or something like that. I can't remember the name of the show. She loved watching that, but she was always afraid, and but she had me not watch it, but listen to it on the radio. We listened to it on the radio back then, and we had TVs, but it was on the radio too. She'd have me listen to those. She also enjoyed going outside and looking for UFOs, and she dragged me along with her. And this was when I was a young child, very young child. I don't even think I was 7 years old. Sometime before then. So I'll come back and okay. When I was a very young child, one of the first stories I ever heard about really anything that I remember to this day was about a house that we lived in before. But when I was 2 years old, I moved out of it. I had 3 older siblings, and basically the story was that we lived in this house in the same town we moved in. My maternal grandparents had a house built for us after that, and we moved into that. I was only 2 years old, so I don't even remember the story after that. But basically it was that the house was haunted. And they said that there was a man and his son got into a fight at that house, and they went outside, and it was under some tree. The man picked up an axe, and one of them, I don't know which one it was, killed the other one. And that was a long time ago, so I don't remember that whole thing, but I just remember the story. And the other part was that my maternal grandfather, when my parents lived there, and that happened before my parents lived there, so they moved into a haunted house is the way they told the story. And my maternal grandfather was burning trash or something. Back then they burned trash in your yard, and some places they still do. And there you can get a burn permit to do it, but where I live you can't. But anyway, the story was that my grandfather was outside burning, burning something in a burning barrel, and the next thing he knows, he was near that tree, and where the axe was, they said that the guy left the axe sitting against that tree, and all this, but basically a circle went around him of fire, and they had to rescue him from it, around that tree, and where he was standing under that tree. And there were stories about, middle of the night, door slamming, middle of the day door slamming, opening, shutting, shoes moving on their own, that kind of thing. And that's stuff I was taught as a child. And I really do believe, told as a child, I really do believe that it really developed for me an anxiety and panic, because I was always, early as a child, I was always worried that something was going to come get me. Something was, there was something, a ghost or something, and it was going to get me, it was going to surround me in a circle of fire or something like that. There were always different stories they would tell, as time went by, like in my grandparents' house, that same maternal grandparents, when we lived next door to, they said that house, their house, my grandparents, it was haunted too. Okay. As for my grandparents' house that was next door to the house they had built for us and we moved in when I was 2 years old, the story that I heard there was that there was a woman that had lived in the house, and she had died in the house, and that's basically all I heard about that, except for that she loved lavender perfume. Lavender scent all around, and it could be especially, you could smell it in the bathroom. And as a child, I was always afraid of going into that bathroom, very terrified of going into the bathroom. And as an adult, a young adult, my grandparents already passed away. I moved into that house, and even as a child, I would smell it, and as an adult, young adult, when I moved in there, I would smell that lavender perfume. And weird things happened. Doors would open and shut and stuff like that. And my grandfather, he passed away in that house. And there were rooms in that house that were just downright scary. There were. And but yeah, we would smell that lavender scent. And these days, I love that, and I have for a long time. But as a child, it terrified me. It just totally terrified me. And I grew up hearing stories, about different kind of hauntings. Up to my mom, well, before she passed away a couple of years ago, I'd say earlier, she had dementia. So before her dementia got too far gone, for long, she believed in ghosts. She would say things like, my dad had passed away much earlier, and she believed for some reason the front doorbell, it was one that had a battery. It wasn't electrical, and every once in a while it'd just go off, and she would say that was her, my dad, her late husband, ringing the doorbell. And a lot of people where I grew up, they believed in hauntings and the paranormal all around. And but like I said, I grew up hearing stories. Of course, I was in the Bluebirds and Girl Scouts. Well, that was a long time ago. I was in those, and we went to camp, summer camp with them. And when I was a Girl Scout, I don't think so in the Bluebirds. That was for younger. But we'd go to summer camp, and we'd, do the whole thing of sitting by the campfire and holding the flashlight under your face, kind of thing. And but that was different because it was kids telling kids scary stories. And I would have panic attacks then. I would have panic attacks often. And so I grew up, but it's a different thing when it's another child. But what do you think? I'm going to wrap up this video. But what do you think about adults, parents or grandparents, anybody an adult, telling young children stories about hauntings or UFOs along that line? Leave your comment below. And let me know. Anyway, I'll wrap this up, and I'll see y'all in another video about this topic next week.